Welcome back to 100 Blocks of 2025. We are coming down the home stretch. We just finished block number 93. Today is block number 94. It's a super simple, super easy block straight out of The Farmer's Wife. If you need to do something fun, we haven't changed this one at all. So we're just going to do this one exactly as it appears. So let's take a look at what the block looks like. Here's our block. It's on page 175. It is number 48 and it's called Homeward Bound. And this one is pretty easy. The one on the picture that is sewn shows a lot of extra, looks like extra lines and things like that. I think they're part of the fabric, but it's a pretty straightforward kind of a 9-patch block. But our outer patches are made up of these little units with little squares. All right, let's take a look at what I've cut. And I am gonna make a little bit of a change here just in the fabric, but let's take a look. All right, so I have for this background, which I've got here in this light gray, I decided to use this really cool batik stripe. So I cut a 2.5-inch square. By the way, all the big squares are 2.5 inches. The little squares are 1.5 inches. That's what makes up this whole deal. So I've made a 2.5-inch center square. I used a secondary color to make 2.5-inch, sort of a 4-patch part square. And then we have all these little corner units. So here I made 3 1.5-inch squares for each corner, 1.5-inch squares of that stripe. And then I have this one solid color. Now the solid color is very close to the stripe. So I've decided I'm going to swap it out for something a little darker so you can see the pattern just a little tiny bit better. So I went ahead and I cut 4 new little squares. We'll use these for something else later, but that way you can see the pattern just a little bit better. I think that looks a lot closer to what we're doing for the original block. So for this block of our background, which we're calling our stripe, you need 1 2.5-inch square and you need 12 1.5-inch squares, 3 for each corner, okay? And then you need, of your second color, which we've got here, you need 4 2.5-inch squares, and then you need 4 1.5-inch squares for the outside corners. So this one's going to be a pretty obvious sew together. We're going to make these 4-patch units here in the corner, and then we're going to sew the whole thing together as a 9-patch. So let's go ahead and put that together. And I'll probably put 2 together here, 2 together here, and we're gonna press them in opposite directions so that we can nest our seams, and we'll throw the whole thing together and see what it looks like after. There we go, guys. All done. Gone ahead and I put the whole block together. We got all our 4 little blocks here in the corner. Turned it this way. I mean, can't be easier, this block, our Homeward Bound. I will say the only thing that that I made sure of is I did use a couple different stripes in here. I used a print that had this running stripe, and I also used this print that had this stripe. And so I made sure that all of these guys were going in the same direction, and all of these guys were going in the same direction. So each way you turn it, we have a converse of stripe. But otherwise, it can't be an easier block. So if you're looking for something cool to do, this one's pretty fun. And you can also change out, if you don't want to use all the squares, you could make yourself a 1.5-inch square, and you can cut this out as a 1.5 by 2.5-inch rectangle, and that would give you a little less cutting to do. So, but otherwise, this one's super simple. So it's also a great way to use up anything that you want to use for fussy cutting, so you can put some little fun stuff in there. But this one was a super easy block, and this one is number 94, and we're just going to keep going. I did not make this one in another color. I didn't do that to you this time, because last time I made like 4 of the same. So, but I did get this one done, so I'm very excited about this. If you're looking for something easy to do, this one's really cool, fun, easy guy. And if you use it, you can make a really cool, fun design with this one if you made this as a whole quilt. So you can put them on point. You can get a totally different look here. You'll wind up with sort of a box around a center. That's kind of fun. So give this one a try. If you are just joining us, I just want to make sure that you know that all of these blocks, all 100 in 2025, are inside the 100 Blocks playlist on our YouTube channel at Cabin Quilters. So if you're finding us for the first time, you can go all the way back to the beginning, watch every single video we have. They're all numbered. You can't miss them. So you can binge watch that. And if you're loving the content, do me and the channel a great big favor and consider liking and subscribing. I know we have a lot of viewers out there, and I'm guessing only probably 80% of you that are watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you like this kind of content, if you're anxious to see what we're coming up with for 2026, definitely hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching this on a mobile channel, consider hitting that hype button. It really helps the channel out. We're a small channel. We're trying to grow, and we're trying to be found in the sea of the wonderful world of quilting. So consider that. And if you want to check out our retreats and our quilt cruises and what we have available online, you can find us on the web at cabinquilters.com. I'll see you in the next one.